Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Thank you for joining me today. We're gonna look at another movie. This is of course Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it right when the movie came out. I even had a ticket ready and everything. However, I got sick, but I finally got to see the movie. I do want to give a huge spoiler warning. I know there's some people out there who don't want to know anything, don't want to know any of the characters, any subplots, any scenes, nothing. So this is your warning to turn away right now. I'm not going to do like a scene by scene breakdown, like tell you all the secrets, but then again, there is a warning. Like I may mention things here and there. I'm going to mention some plots in the story. And so if that's something that you don't want to know right now, just stop the video, go watch the movie. When you do, just put this on your watch later list and then just watch it later. So let's get right into it, guys and gals. I have to tell you, I am more of a Trek fan, but I do love Star Wars as well. I know a lot more about Star Trek, but I got into Star Wars as well. I think it's a great, like they say, space opera. I really was a fan of the first three movies, you know, the ones with the original cast. I wasn't even so much against the prequels. The prequels get so much hate. In my opinion, they were a step down from the originals. I think you can't match the originals, right? There were some cheesy things in the originals, but I think they just worked. There was a lot of good elements, the character development, the growth, the progression of each individual character, like Luke, and seeing how they interact. Everything was done very, very well and thought out. I think the prequels added a lot more CGI and a lot more comedic effect. I think that was a shift of the times. As we go back and look at something, more time passes, I think more people appreciate it. And now we have the Disney Star Wars. I mean, that is, you can't deny that. You can't deny that. The original people who made Star Wars, George Lucas, they're gone in terms of the creative aspect of the story. Now we have young people, young blood, generations that knew the stuff before, most likely, and then now they're playing into the movie. So I mean, that could affect what is going on here. And let me tell you, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. I know some people are very polarized. It was like either people liked it or they didn't like it. And I'm gonna tell you where I fell into it. One thing I have to tell you, and I have to start, I think one of the highlights and positive things of this movie that I absolutely love was Poe Dameron. He is the pilot piloting the X-Wing. I think Oscar Isaac is awesome. I didn't like his portrayal so much in the movie X-Men Apocalypse, but I really like him as Poe. I think he works as that character. I think he's comedic, is perfect. Like his rogue-like, like Han Solo type character, I think is really good. I think he works really well in this movie. Let me move on to Rey. Now, I think it's great. There was a lot of talking also about male versus female and how many females, and the fact that, you know, I don't mind that. I don't mind that a female is taking over for the lead. If she's a great character, if she's done really well, I'm all for that. If a male is there, I'm all there. I'm all for the character if it's done well. I think Luke was done well. Rey, I think she was a bit too much. She was a bit overpowered. Now, I love Daisy Ridley. I think she's a fantastic actress. I really liked her in Force Awakens. I think she was the highlight of that movie. This one, not so much. This one, not so much. We have a different director for this movie, Rian Johnson, and for the previous movie, we had J.J. Abrams. I think J.J. Abrams did a better job with her. Rian Johnson, I felt that Rey was everywhere. Rey is like, she is this supreme, powerful entity of a woman. She happens to be a woman, but if she was a man, I would have said the same thing. He's like this overpowered woman. She almost has no flaws as a character other than, you know, her origins, which we thought were going to be like, she was tied to this and tied to everything else. I think Rian Johnson saw all the Twitter stuff, all the theories, and he made it simple. He's like, no, she's poor. She came from nothing. It's like, oh, okay. She came from nothing, then okay. That was a little bit weird. The fact that she had no training whatsoever, she was just honed into using the Force. I guess maybe it's like instinctual, maybe it's like it just works. It's like a type of a, I was gonna say a Jedi, well of course a Jedi, but it's more like a Shaolin monk type thing.
I've seen this raw strength only once before.
Where you're just in tune, and maybe that's right, but she was overpowered. Then we go to Kylo Ren. And I rather liked him in the first movie, the first half, the part where he was covered up. the illusion died for me when he took the mask off. Like I was like, he looks like that. I wasn't too hot with his looks. I wasn't too hot with his tantrums.
Let the past die.
I wasn't too hot with... I like the mystery of Kylo Ren. And then finally when we just had the mask off, it wasn't as effective. Like, think about this. Think about Darth Vader. Halfway through episode 4, Darth Vader takes his mask off, and for the rest of the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th has no mask. It would take away. We see Darth Vader at the end of 6, like the end of the movie. It doesn't destroy the character because you've seen him, you've seen his trajectory, so that's not a big deal. Kylo Ren, a whiny Solo. Finn, I have to say, I don't know what to make of Finn. I see him as all over the place. I saw a lot of potential in him being a former stormtrooper and then infiltrating and all of this. And then this movie, it was like he was just there to help them infiltrate. But I can tell you that his character in this movie didn't work so well. What did he do? He went to the planet with Rose? I don't get Rose either. It was like a love interest, but not really. And then, I don't know. There was just a weird dynamic with them. Dynamic in terms of how their chemistry worked. It just didn't work for me. I liked Rey's and Finn's though. I think that was pretty good in the first movie, Force Awakens. Then we have my biggest gripe. And I know people who are probably expert in Star Wars and can negate everything I'm saying, but these are my honest thoughts. I've seen the originals, and I've seen Luke, and I've seen his character. I've even noticed, okay, in Return of the Jedi, how he's wearing all black, and maybe he's teasing the dark side a little bit, like he's ebbing and flowing into it. That's fine. But now in this movie, it seems like he's another Luke. And I don't mean that like as you grow, you change as a person. No. I want to say he's kind of a wimp. He's kind of a wimp. I know you can say the last scene where, you know, he does that astral projection, and that was pretty cool. And I've got this idea from Star Wars Theory. I didn't make this up. There was an X-Wing underwater. He could have raised that up. That was a great allusion to The Empire Strikes Back and what Yoda did. He could have done that. He could have flown back himself. I mean, he's the great Luke Skywalker. I knew something was up when he was shot by all those AT-AT looking things, AT-ATs, and then all of a sudden nothing happens. I'm like, well, that's not really him. There's no way. Like, there's nothing, no scars, nothing. Not even like if he had a force thing where he can ricochet all those bullets, he didn't do anything. And so it's like, well, obviously it's not him. For me, I didn't get that big impact of the end of the movie where I was like, oh, he's not really there. And I don't know. It didn't work for me, guys and gals. Let me tell you, I saw Carrie Fisher and I just felt so bad at every scene because, of course, she's gone. We lost her. However, I have to be honest, she was stiff in her portrayal. Like, I can love Carrie Fisher and honor what she did in her work, but I don't know. Maybe she wasn't feeling well during the whole filming of this, but she seemed very stiff. She seemed not in her element. It was just, like I said, kind of awkward. And then I believe you have Laura Dern replacing her, quote unquote, and it was just a disaster. Also, there were a few good moments. There were moments that I did like in the movie. I liked a lot of the battles, honestly, with Poe in them. I enjoyed BB-8. I wished he could have been a little bit more in the movie. I liked the beginning when he was doing his thing and fixing things. I think it was great. I think it was comical. Then we had Chewie, a scene trying to eat a porg or some type of chicken. I think it was a porg. And it was like he was on screen for like 50 seconds. And I was like, that's what you give Chewie? Like, really? Like, it was just like, oh my gosh. So, honestly, I didn't really agree, guys and gals. You're getting the point. I didn't really agree with a lot of things that happened. I was very much disappointed. I think this is the worst Star Wars movie ever. I didn't really like, to be honest with you, Rogue One that much, but I liked this a lot less than Rogue One. I think Force Awakens was better, and I wasn't too impressed with Force Awakens. I think it was just good. It was a good film. I think this one was less than good. And then we go to the originals, which I think are excellent, and then the prequels, which I think are very fair. Getting to this movie, guys and gals, I was really struggling on how I want to rate this movie, because it's like there were elements that I liked, and so there were things pulling me this way, and then there were things pulling me this way. I just wanted to portray my negatives to you and telling you why the score is going down. The positive things, I did like a lot of the scenes. I really loved, they were on a Hoth-like planet with the AT-ATs. I think that was cool. That was a cool allusion to the, you know, the original Empire Strikes Back. And I think that was great. And then the salt, so you got that. I think that was amazing. Like, those effects were great. I like the ships when they were, I mean, that was cool. That was great. BB-8 was great. The milking of that cow thing on the planet, I was like, what is that? Oh my gosh. That was just so random. But a lot of the scenery was really nice. A lot of the shots were pretty good, but that's about it, guys and gals. So if I really have to rate this film, it's one of those things where I'm torn. And if you ask me in a month and I watch it again, I may slightly change my answer. But as of this point, I'm gonna give this movie a C+. I'm gonna give it the best score I can give it in the average scale, because you know I rate C as average, as an average film, a little better than average. I was gonna say good is in the B range, and so I don't think it's just flirting with a B minus range. I think in good conscience I can give it a C+ and feel all right. And maybe I have to do one on Force Awakens and let you know what I think. I did like it a lot more, so I can give you my thoughts on that. I think there was a lot more mystery in this one. I think the mystery was destroyed very quickly, and then I was pretty much let down throughout the film. So let me know what you think and your thoughts. Again, this is just my thoughts on the film, but I do want to know what you think. Watch the movie. I am interested in your thoughts. We'll see you next time, guys and gals. Don't forget to stay positive. Always, always, always push through the negativity. And most importantly, be hopeful.